Episode number 2. Story number 1. The Worlds Beyond. In the year 2257, humanity had finally conquered the vastness of space. Interstellar travel became commonplace, and people ventured to distant stars, exploring alien worlds in search of resources and new homes. Among these explorers was Dr. Laura Ellis, a renowned astrobiologist, who embarked on a mission to study the recently discovered Zephyrus system. The system contained 7 planets, each with unique ecosystems and the potential to harbor life. Dr. Ellis and her team arrived at the Zephyrus system aboard the research vessel, the Celestial Voyager. The excitement among the crew was palpable as they began their study of the alien worlds. The first 3 planets were barren and rocky, with little to offer in terms of resources or habitable environments. However, as they reached the 4th planet, Zephyrus 4, they discovered something extraordinary. Zephyrus 4 was a lush, verdant world, teeming with exotic flora and fauna. The atmosphere was breathable, and the climate was temperate, making it a prime candidate for human colonization. Dr. Ellis and her team marveled at the diversity of life on the planet, collecting samples and documenting their findings. As they delved deeper into the world, they stumbled upon a hidden valley, home to a species of intelligent, bipedal creatures. These beings, who called themselves the Zephyrians, welcomed Dr. Ellis and her team, inviting them to learn about their culture and history. The Zephyrians were an ancient, peaceful race, who lived in harmony with their planet and its resources. They were eager to share their knowledge and wisdom with the human visitors, hoping to foster a relationship built on trust and mutual respect. As Dr. Ellis and her team continued their research, they discovered that the other planets in the Zephyrus system also harbored life. Zephyrus V was a massive ocean world, home to colossal marine creatures that thrived in its depths. Zephyrus 6 was a world of perpetual twilight, where bioluminescent plants illuminated the dark landscape, and its inhabitants had adapted to life in the shadows. News of the incredible discoveries in the Zephyrus system reached Earth, and the governments and corporations of the world saw an opportunity for expansion and profit. They quickly mobilized, sending fleets of ships to lay claim to the alien worlds and exploit their resources. Dr. Ellis, fearing the consequences of such actions, pleaded with Earth's leaders to reconsider, urging them to respect the delicate balance of life in the Zephyrus system. Despite her best efforts, Dr. Ellis could not prevent the onslaught. Greed and ambition fueled a new age of colonialism, and the alien worlds were soon overrun by human settlers. The delicate ecosystems of Zephyrus 4, V, and 6 were disrupted, and the native inhabitants were pushed to the brink of extinction. The Zephyrians, with their peaceful nature and advanced knowledge, realized that their world was on the verge of destruction. They made a desperate decision, using their ancient technology to create a massive force field around Zephyrus 4, cutting themselves off from the rest of the system and the invading humans. The force field around Zephyrus 4 held strong, and the human settlers were unable to breach it. They were forced to abandon their ambitions, leaving the Zephyrians to preserve their way of life. The other planets in the Zephyrus system were not so fortunate, and the damage caused by human interference was irreversible. Dr. Ellis, heartbroken by the outcome, returned to Earth to share her story. She became a powerful voice for conservation and respect for alien life, urging humanity to learn from its mistakes and love one another. Story 2. The Agartha Network. In the year 2301, Earth's surface was a war-torn, uninhabitable wasteland, ravaged by centuries of war and environmental catastrophes. The remnants of humanity retreated to a vast underground network of cities, known as the Agartha Network. This subterranean world was connected through high-speed transport tunnels, enabling the survivors to maintain contact and trade with one another. Dr. Sarah Caldwell, an ambitious and resourceful engineer, believed that the only way to save humanity was to reclaim the surface. She dedicated her life to developing a network of advanced terraforming machines, capable of healing the planet's devastated ecosystems. With her invention, she hoped to one day lead humanity back to the world they had lost. Sarah's work on the terraforming machines, dubbed Genesis devices, caught the attention of the Agartha Council, the governing body of the underground cities. They saw potential in her ideas and provided her with the funding and resources needed to bring her project to fruition. As Sarah's team of engineers and scientists grew, so did the hope that the surface could be restored. Years of research and development resulted in the creation of the first fully functional Genesis device. It was a marvel of engineering, capable of extracting pollution and toxins from the atmosphere, purifying water sources, and reinvigorating barren soil. Sarah knew that deploying the device on the surface would be a monumental challenge, but she was determined to see her vision come to life. With the support of the Agartha Council, Sarah led an expedition to the surface, accompanied by a team of elite soldiers, known as the Vanguard, who were tasked with protecting the Genesis device. As they reached the surface, they were met with a desolate, lifeless landscape, scarred by centuries of conflict and neglect. Despite the bleak surroundings, Sarah remained steadfast in her mission. As the team prepared to activate the Genesis device, they discovered that they were not alone on the surface. A group of surface-dwelling humans, known as the Scavengers, had managed to survive in the harsh environment by scavenging resources from the ruins of the old world. The Scavengers, led by their charismatic leader, Torin, were skeptical of Sarah's intentions and the Genesis device, fearing that it would destroy their way of life. Tensions between the Vanguard and the Scavengers escalated, culminating in a violent standoff. Sarah, desperate to avoid further bloodshed, negotiated a temporary truce with Torin, agreeing to demonstrate the Genesis device's capabilities to the Scavengers. As the device was activated, the surrounding landscape began to transform, with vegetation sprouting from the once barren ground and the air becoming cleaner and more breathable. The miraculous transformation of the environment convinced Torin and the Scavengers of the Genesis device's potential. However, their newfound alliance was short-lived. Word of the device's success reached the Agartha Council, and they saw an opportunity to solidify their power by controlling the surface. They dispatched a massive military force to secure the Genesis device and eliminate any opposition, including the Scavengers. As the Agartha military arrived, a fierce battle erupted between them, the Vanguard, and the Scavengers. Despite their differences, Sarah and Torin united their forces, hoping to protect the Genesis device and prevent the Council's tyranny from extending to the surface. The battle was brutal and unforgiving, with casualties mounting on both sides. In a desperate final stand, Sarah and Torin managed to turn the tide of the battle, seizing control of the Genesis device and forcing the Agartha military to fall. Sarah and Torin were granted asylum and set off to change the world for good. Lesson of this story is get the technology out as fast as possible. Story 3. The Glimpse Project. In the not-too-distant future, the world's governments and corporations waged covert wars for power and control. One of the most valuable tools in these clandestine battles was remote viewing, a technique that allowed specially trained individuals to perceive events, locations, and information from great distances, beyond the constraints of time and space. Dr. Erica Matthews, a gifted neuroscientist, was recruited by a top-secret government agency to lead the Glimpse Project, an initiative aimed at enhancing remote viewing capabilities. Driven by the potential to use her research for the betterment of humanity, Erica accepted the challenge, unaware of the true intentions of those who sought to control her work. As the head of the Glimpse Project, Dr. Matthews assembled a team of brilliant minds and remote viewing prodigies. Among them was Alex, a young, talented remote viewer who possessed unparalleled psychic abilities. Under Dr. Matthews' guidance, Alex honed his skills, becoming the agency's most valuable asset. The Glimpse Project achieved groundbreaking results, developing advanced neural interfaces that allowed remote viewers to access and process information with unprecedented accuracy and speed. Dr. Matthews, eager to explore the benevolent applications of her research, began to envision a future where remote viewing could be used for disaster relief, medical advancements, and the pursuit of knowledge. However, the shadowy figures who funded the Glimpse Project had other plans. They intended to weaponize remote viewing, using it to infiltrate and undermine their enemies. As their influence over the project grew, Dr. Matthews found herself caught in a moral dilemma, torn between her noble aspirations and the demands of her superiors. As the agency tightened its grip on the Glimpse Project, Dr. Matthews and her team were pressured to conduct increasingly dangerous and ethically dubious experiments. Remote viewers were tasked with stealing state secrets, sabotaging rival corporations, and even assassinating key targets. Alex, disillusioned by the sinister turn of events, began to question the purpose of his abilities. Sensing his growing unease, Dr. Matthews confided in him, revealing her own misgivings and her desire to use their work for the greater good. United by their shared convictions, they devised a plan to expose the true nature of the Glimpse project and dismantle the agency's control. With the agency's watchful eyes on their every move, Dr. Matthews and Alex covertly gathered evidence of their superiors' corruption and malfeasance. Utilizing their remote viewing skills, they infiltrated secure networks, uncovering a vast web of deceit and manipulation that extended to the highest echelons of power. As they prepared to release their findings to the public, the agency discovered their betrayal. Fearing the exposure of their secrets, they ordered a swift and brutal retaliation against Dr. Matthews, Alex, and the entire Glimpse project team. In an instant, their lives were thrown into chaos, as they found themselves on the run from the very organization they had once served. In a race against time, Dr. Matthews and Alex managed to evade capture and disseminate the evidence they had collected. As the truth behind the Glimpse project came to light, public outrage sparked a global reckoning, toppling the corrupt power structures that had manipulated humanity for their own gain. Though their actions had come at a great cost, Dr. Matthews and Alex took solace in the knowledge that their work had finally been used for the purpose they had always envisioned. Together, they founded a new research institute, dedicated to the ethical and humanitarian application of remote viewing and other psychic abilities. Moral of the story is we all have power within us. Story 4. Operation Nova. The year was 2075, and Earth was rebuilding after decades of global conflict. In an attempt to accelerate the world's recovery, the United Nations formed the International Science Coalition, ISC, an organization tasked with unearthing and repurposing scientific breakthroughs from the war. Among the ISC's most secretive initiatives was Operation Nova, a project dedicated to locating and recruiting the scientists behind a top-secret wartime program known as Paperclip. The Paperclip program involved research into cutting-edge technology with the potential to transform the world as humanity knew it. The true nature of the program and the identities of its architects remained shrouded in mystery. Dr. Catherine Warren, a tenacious historian and intelligence analyst, was assigned to lead Operation Nova. She was relentless in her pursuit of the truth, determined to uncover the secrets of the Paperclip program and bring its architects to light. As Dr. Warren and her team delved into the remnants of the program, they discovered that Paperclip had been responsible for numerous technological innovations. Among their findings were schematics for advanced propulsion systems, blueprints for energy-efficient cities, and early designs for nanotechnology with medical applications. Despite these revelations, the identities of the scientists remained elusive. Dr. Warren's investigation caught the attention of a clandestine organization known as the Gatekeepers, the true puppet masters behind the Paperclip program. Sensing a threat to their power and secrecy, the gatekeepers sought to undermine and discredit Dr. Warren's work, employing subterfuge and sabotage to protect their secrets. Dr. Warren's persistence eventually paid off, as she uncovered a hidden facility where the Paperclip scientists had conducted their research. The facility was abandoned, but the remnants of their work were still present, preserved like a time capsule. Among the documents she discovered, Dr. Warren found a list of the scientists, their locations, and evidence of the gatekeepers' involvement. The gatekeepers, desperate to maintain their secrecy, initiated a ruthless manhunt, targeting Dr. Warren and her team. As her colleagues were systematically eliminated, Dr. Warren was forced to confront the reality that her mission had placed her and her team in grave danger. In a bold gambit, Dr. Warren decided to use her discoveries as leverage, luring the gatekeepers into a trap. By publicly announcing that she would reveal the identities of the Paperclip scientists and expose the gatekeepers' control over their research, Dr. Warren hoped to force their hand, turning the tables on her pursuers. The gatekeepers, determined to protect their interests, took the bait. They dispatched their most skilled agents to silence Dr. Warren and secure the information she had uncovered. What followed was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, with Dr. Warren and the remnants of her team evading capture and outmaneuvering their adversaries. As the pursuit reached its peak, Dr. Warren executed her plan, broadcasting the names of the paperclip scientists and the gatekeepers' connection to them. The revelation sent shockwaves throughout the world, as governments and citizens alike grappled with the implications of the technology and the sinister forces that sought to control it. With their secrets exposed, the gatekeepers' influence waned, and their agents were apprehended. Dr. Warren's work was hailed as a major turning point in the global recovery, and the paperclip scientists were finally given the opportunity to use their research for the betterment of humanity. The ISC, under the direction of Dr. Catherine Warren, continued to uncover and reappropriate wartime technology, ensuring that the discoveries were used for peaceful and progressive purposes. Operation Nova became a symbol of hope. Story 5. The Crossing. Sci-Fi. In the year 2148, humanity had achieved an unprecedented level of technological prowess, allowing them to explore the far reaches of the cosmos. Among their greatest discoveries was the existence of multidimensional beings, ethereal entities that existed beyond the confines of human comprehension. Dr. Anika Patel, a brilliant astrophysicist, dedicated her life to the study of these beings and their enigmatic realm. Convinced that the key to understanding them lay in the ability to communicate, she embarked on a journey to develop a means of bridging the gap between the dimensions. Working alongside a team of talented engineers and quantum physicists, Dr. Patel developed the dimensional interface, a device that could transmit and receive signals across dimensions. In its initial trials, the team successfully established contact with the multidimensional beings, exchanging rudimentary messages and gradually developing an understanding of their language. As their communication improved, Dr. Patel and her team began to learn more about the nature of the multidimensional beings. They discovered that the beings were guardians of sorts, maintaining the balance between dimensions and preventing the unraveling of the cosmic fabric. The multidimensional beings, intrigued by humanity's technological advancements and their desire for understanding, agreed to share their knowledge with Dr. Patel and her team, offering insights into the mysteries of the universe. During their collaboration, Dr. Patel and the multidimensional beings discovered a dangerous anomaly, a breach between the dimensions that threatened to unravel the very fabric of existence. This breach, if left unchecked, could lead to the collapse of the universe and the destruction of all life. Determined to prevent such a catastrophe, Dr. Patel and the multidimensional beings joined forces, combining their knowledge and resources to develop a plan to mend the breach. However, they soon discovered that the task was far more complex and perilous than they had anticipated. In order to repair the breach, Dr. Patel would have to venture into the realm of the multidimensional beings, a journey fraught with unimaginable risks. Undaunted by the danger, she volunteered to undertake the mission, knowing that the fate of the universe hung in the balance. As Dr. Patel crossed into the multidimensional realm, she was overwhelmed by the alien landscape, a place where the laws of physics and reality seemed to bend and break. Guided by the multidimensional beings, she navigated this strange new world, her mind stretched to the brink of comprehension. Together, they worked tirelessly, weaving together the threads of existence and sealing the breach that threatened the universe. But as they neared completion, the fabric of reality began to destabilize, and the link between their dimensions grew unstable. In a desperate bid to complete their task, Dr. Patel and the multidimensional beings strained against the limits of their power, knowing that failure would mean the end of all they knew. With a final, monumental effort, Dr. Patel and the multidimensional beings succeeded in mending the breach, restoring balance to the universe and averting disaster. But the ordeal had taken its toll on Dr. Patel, her mind forever altered by her experiences in the multidimensional realm. As she returned to her own dimension, Dr. Patel found herself forever changed, imbued with a newfound understanding of the universe and the beings that inhabited it. With the knowledge she had gained, she dedicated her life to forging a lasting bond between humanity and the multidimensional beings, using their combined wisdom to further explore the mysteries of the cosmos. The crossing, as it came to be known, marked a new era of enlightenment and cooperation between dimensions, a testament to the power of curiosity, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of existence.